Were you surprised at the Wishbone demise?
Look, I think everyone was surprised, when they walked past one of their favourite stores, Wishbone, and, I would have spent years getting coffees there or a sandwich at lunchtime, and to see the doors closed and you think, especially my local one, which is across the road from the office, and go, maybe they couldn't staff it that day or something. But to hear it had gone into receivership was a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shock because, like you say, it's a bit of an icon, a bit of an institution around not just Wellington, but around the country.
And it gave the impression, Kirk, of being a well-run business that branded itself well, had a consistent product, you knew what you were getting when you went there. It didn't seem a bad business. And you like to think, I guess, that bad businesses don't fail.
Yeah, and I think, when I reflected on, the news that Wishbone had closed, I thought about it, and I was thinking about what are the costs for that business? What are the input costs? And I think, labour, clearly, is an input cost, gone up minimum wage, gone up 40% since 2017. Food inflation, currently 12.5%. Cost of capital probably tripled in the last couple of years.
Gosh, I hadn't factored that in. Yep.
And then I was thinking about, your point about foot traffic, right? Some of those leases that Wishbone would have been locked into would have been on the basis that, of course, there's plenty of foot traffic. So when you lock into a lease in, let's just say, 2015, those areas were probably high foot traffic areas pre-pandemic. And, they're locked into the lease. The landlord's got their own costs. So the business is paying, but the foot traffic's not there. So, when you look at that combination, you go, man, those guys are probably facing a pretty challenging set of circumstances pre-pandemic, and then post-pandemic without the people being there, even tougher, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the fear would be, or the concern would be, that they won't be the only relatively successful and well-run business that in the current environment just cannot make it.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, you and I would have talked a lot over COVID. We did talk a lot over COVID, and there were areas of the economy that we knew, and we had talked about it. Hospitality was one of those, and if you put broadly Wishbone into that category, what was happening is, so there's an ability to charge a person for a sandwich, so the costs are going up. Yeah. But there's no ability to really pass that on. So you imagine each week, each month, or each 6 months is going down and down and down. Then you can't make a profit. You add that and you add the potential. I don't know whether Wishbone was carrying any debt or not, but just let's say they were in order to grow. You add the likely tripling of the cost of debt, and you go, man, there's no margin in that business suddenly. It's very challenging. Would there be other businesses in that situation? Absolutely.